the heart of the American West, fences have shaped the land for more than a century, defining property and protecting herds of livestock. Now, new boundary lines ripple across the landscape, proving sometimes the best fences are the ones you can't see.
Virtual fencing is an emerging technology in the agricultural sector, where livestock producers are able to put collars on their livestock and control their movements through the use of GPS and cellular communication.
Many people are familiar with invisible fence that you use for your dog, and that is basically the principle on which virtual fencing is based. With a virtual fence, you can control the location of where your livestock are, and you can then move the fence virtually on your computer or your tablet or even your phone so that the cows can wander around in a predefined area.
Using solar-powered collars, GPS satellites, and base stations, ranchers can now control where their cattle graze without a single strand of wire.
This phone gives a pinpoint of where every cow is, and we have their ear tag numbers assigned in the program. I can be 50 miles away, 100 miles away, and I can take out my phone and look and see where the herd is. That's a peace of mind right there, just knowing where your cattle are. The collars give an audible beep if they get close to a boundary. As they get closer to a boundary, it'll increase the intensity of the beep in a direction to get them to move away. And then if they don't respect that, it'll actually give them a little pulse.
With virtual fencing, the pasture is no longer fixed, but constantly reimagined with a few taps on a screen.
I can change boundaries on my phone. I just pull up the app. Within a couple clicks, I can refence this whole pasture. And it's kind of neat.
Recognizing its vast potential, the Ricketts Conservation Foundation launched the Virtual Fence Conservation Partnership, a bold investment in the future of ranching across the Yellowstone ecosystem. Through grants and technical support from other agencies, the foundation is helping ranchers step into the new era of invisible fencing.
In 2025, the Ricketts Conservation Foundation put out a request for proposals asking ranchers who are interested in testing virtual fencing to bring them a proposal, and we would work with them for 4 years and fund up to half of the cost of the collars and all the cost of the towers.
The Virtual Fence Conservation Partnership have awarded 8 ranchers to move forward with that project, where the funding will be administered over the 4 years, and then we'll monitor together and tell the story of the rancher, all the different aspects of virtual fencing as it relates to their unique scenario.
We're going to be collecting data on the successes or challenges so that by 2029 or 2030, we are able to show more people that virtual fencing is a valid and useful way to manage livestock in the Yellowstone ecosystem economically and in an environmentally sensitive manner.
In the Yellowstone ecosystem, virtual fencing opens a new frontier, one where ranching and habitat restoration work side by side.
Virtual fencing was really developed initially for people who had pastures and they wanted to engage in rotational grazing. So by using virtual fencing, you're able to engage in intensive grazing of a specified area and then move the cows to another area where they can do the same thing over. It means that the area that was grazed is only grazed for a short period of time and has much longer to recover.
Virtual fencing has such great benefits for regenerative agriculture, where they're using livestock grazing in different ways. They're increasing health in the vegetation. And when our vegetation is healthy, our livestock who are grazing it are also healthier.
With virtual fencing, you can move the cows a lot more slowly, less stress involved for them because you don't have to push them. It means that you save time because you don't have to physically go out there and move them. There's much less chance of injury to the animals.
Virtual fencing allows cattle to graze in rhythm with the land and gives ranchers a bit more ease in their day.
We have an 800-acre pasture that we have to get the cattle in and move to another one, and that takes a lot of manpower and time to do that without the virtual fencing. But now we have virtually an unlimited amount of fencing we can do just by our phone. Within a few minutes we can have a pasture fenced and we can move them to that new pasture. So there's a huge benefit of time and labor savings for us.
With virtual fencing, it does provide opportunities for a rancher to make more efficient use of their time. And over the long term, they can identify these areas with physical fencing that are no longer needed, so that reduces the labor cost there as far as annual maintenance of those fences.
Beyond the pasture's edge, these invisible fences are also reshaping ancient pathways and clearing the way for migrations that have been around long before barbed wire at wooden posts.
With those physical barriers that are intended to keep our domestic livestock in a specific area, they really inhibit the movement of our wildlife in this area. These extensive migration routes are native to our mule deer, pronghorn antelope, and elk. For Ricketts Conservation Foundation, we really want to see those open lands remain open for those wildlife, and so virtual fencing can come into play.
The disadvantages that come with standard fencing really comes down to the concerns it causes with wildlife. It can create these barriers in the landscape. It can separate animals, reduce access to critical habitats, and it can also increase injury, entanglements, and sometimes mortality as these animals try to cross it.
With virtual fencing technology, wildlife travels unhindered, while invisible lines protect the herds and the region's vital habitats.
There are many ecological benefits as they relate to manipulating livestock grazing in such a way that we can avoid sensitive habitats. If you can regulate livestock grazing time down on the stream banks, the vegetation then grows longer and it shades the stream. Our trout, they're a cold water fish and could decline over time if those waters become too hot for them to sustain themselves. So if you can regulate livestock access on those stream banks, the shading then helps those fisheries stay cool.
In a landscape often shaped by flames, virtual fencing also offers a new line of defense against wildfires.
With wildfire management, managers have used virtual fencing to really concentrate animals in a certain area to reduce that fine fuel loading, to reduce the spread of future fire. Post-wildfire, we might use virtual fencing to keep those cattle out of those critical areas to allow for regeneration and restoration of those habitats that burned.
Virtual fencing has the potential to be a wonderful management tool, both for the ranchers but also for the land management agencies, because they can work with the rancher to identify environmental sensitive areas that cows shouldn't be in, and then use the virtual fencing app to delineate those and keep the cows out.
From signal to satellite, from pasture to open range, the Ricketts Conservation Foundation is helping to redefine the boundaries of the Yellowstone ecosystem.
I think the virtual fencing is, so far it's been great. It's allowed us to concentrate on other aspects of the ranch and the business. With the help of the funding that we have received, it's improved our way of life.